umaga sa ating lahat ulit. Good morning. It is May 13, our fourth video session, but we will discuss the third psychological need because the first session was on the introduction to the needs. Okay. How are you? I hope you're still with me. I hope you don't leave me till the end. Okay. Today we're going to discuss a very much asked about, probably the most frequently asked question when we talk of parenting, when we talk about parenting, it is discipline, or the need for clear and consistent limits. Before we go to why the child and why all of us need limits, let's see what's happening in the context of our country now and even before this crisis. I think we will all agree with me that we really need discipline in our country. We lack discipline. In fact, maybe what we lack is what is called self-discipline. It seems that our discipline is external. Pag wala yung police, pwede mo nang gawin basta hindi ka mahuli, which is an external kind of discipline. It is not self-discipline. And another thing I'd like to talk about is discipline with dignity. Even if you are not harsh, or you are not very strong in how you say the discipline, so long as you are firm, you can be kind and still be very effective. In fact, we have a talk called The Power of Compassionate Discipline. Okay, let me explain first. Okay, so why is it that people need discipline? Why is it a basic need? In all my talks, for example, UNICEF and children's organizations, I always assert that it is the child's need, but also the child's right to be disciplined. Children must be given the right and wrong, the do's and don'ts as early as possible. Okay, let me give you 3 examples to illustrate it. One is a 2.5-year-old boy, and the other is an 8-year-old boy, and the third is a 13-year-old girl, which will illustrate why kids need it, they ask for it, and they deserve it. Okay, so there was a mother who was a professor reading a thesis. Her 2.5-year-old son put his dirty shoe on the bed, and then she looked at it and continued to read the thesis. So the boy took another dirty shoe, and put it on the bed and scratched it like this and said, "Mom, you have to scold me." So the boy was teaching the mom to do her job. Discipline me. Tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. I need to hear it from you. And that's a 2.5-year-old boy. So it's good that the mother listened and said, "You should not put your dirty shoe on the bed," and the boy was satisfied and happy. I can't forget that example because I was the mother and I learned from my 2.5-year-old son. Okay, the next story is an 8-year-old boy who was referred to me by a pediatrician because the mother could no longer control him. So when I went to the pediatrician's office to get him, I knew among all the children there crying and doing all kinds of things that he was the one I was supposed to see because the scene was like this. Sabi niya sa nanay niya, "Ayoko sa'yo, pangit ka, sisipain kita." And he proceeded to do so. So you know very well, that's totally out of control. No respect, etc. anymore. So I got the boy, and in the therapy room, there were 2 phones. One was the real phone. At that time, wala pa masyadong cell phone. So there was a phone and a play phone. So he started to use the real phone, and I told him, "Mark, let's say that's not his name, Mark, cannot use that phone, but you can use this. So when you say the don't, you also say the do. Don't stop at the don't because the child doesn't know what to do. When you say the don't, say so 5 times, kinuha niya yung phone na dapat na hindi niya gamitin. Then I said, "No, you have to use this phone, not that one. This is what you can use." Until the 5th time, he looked at me with what I interpreted to be a look of gratitude. Someone finally persisted in telling me that what I was doing is wrong and teaching me to do what is right. This example was further validated by another case where the 30-year-old girl brought in by the mother. The mother was very sad because she had given so much, given in and given up so much for this girl. She's a single mom. And then she's turning out to be very belligerent, hindi sumusunod, and causing her trouble. So, when I talked to the girl, to make it long story short, when I talked to the girl, sabi niya, I wish my mom had scolded me when I did something wrong, that she had corrected me so that I would not be a bad person. Now I'm a bad girl. I wish she did not allow me to become bad. So clearly, children want parents and adults, teachers to discipline them so that they do not become bad persons. In other words, they need the discipline. Okay. So the other interesting thing I'd like to mention is that when children are allowed to do anything, they're not given limits, they are not given what they should not do, they are not reprimanded. You think that they have so much power, they become what sometimes is called the child tyrant. But the irony of this is when the child is given so much freedom and there are no limits, the child begins to feel emotionally insecure inside. So that's the irony. He can do whatever he wants, but emotionally he feels insecure. Limits, clear and consistent limits, give a sense of security to children and to adults as well. So let me just share with you, I formulated in the book, maybe just get the book, I'll do it very, very briefly, 6 C's, letter C, of discipline. I'll go through them quickly. The first one is conviction, meaning before you do anything, before you implement a rule, ask yourself a very important question. Do I totally believe that this rule must be implemented? Because if you are not totally convinced inside you, it will come out and the child will see your tentativeness, will sense your lack of conviction. So from the very beginning, you already have a certain advantage, strength in that you are totally convinced inside you that the rule must be implemented. If not, you will be tentative and indecisive, and the child smells tentativeness like a dog smells fear. They can see it in your eyes, in your body, in your lips, in your tone of voice, whatever it is, a whole picture of you just out. They just know that you are either decisive or indecisive. They have that knack for knowing kung sino ang malulusutan. Okay, that's a conviction. And then, of course, the next very important, clarity. Clear ba yung rule? Clear sa'yo, pero is it clear to the child or to the student or the other person or the people you're implementing the rule on? No? Is it clear to them? If it's a whole barangay, klaro ba sa kanila yung rule mo? Or kala mo lang clear? So, for children, maybe to make sure that it's clear, tell them, can you tell me this rule in your own words? Paano mo siya naintindihan? So you know that they got it. Okay, the next is consistency. One of the more difficult ones, which I kind of failed to do when I did not tell my son, you should not put your dirty shoe on the bed. In other words, when you make a rule, keep at it until the child learns it inside him, and as Erickson, the great psychologist, will say, he becomes his own parent. When your do's and don'ts are consistent enough, the child absorbs it, and you don't have to be there because the child can do it on his own without this external person telling him what to do. Okay, that's consistency. But consistency also has another meaning. Being consistent in the way you deal with the behavior of all people. People, when there's a rule, the consequence applies to people, whether they're rich, they're in high position, they're poor, whatever their situation is or position is, it should be applied fairly. That's part of consistency, being fair. In families, everywhere, fairness is important. And then the fourth is consequences. Okay, behavior has consequence. Maybe good behavior has a good consequence, wrong behavior has negative consequence. This is very important now because this is what we are needing to do in the present situation. When people disobey, there has to be a consequence because people don't learn to follow rules when there is no consequence. Just an aside, but very important information. About many years ago, the UNESCO asked a group of social scientists, psychologists, anthropologists, sociologists to look into what they call in the Philippines the culture of impunity. Impunity meaning getting away with wrong behavior. That wrong behavior is not punished. That impunity. Why is it that there is so much impunity in our country? So we must be able to meet the consequences of behavior. And I think at this time we should be consistent about it, applying it to our present situation now. When people do something that is against the law, give punishment. But give punishment without violating the dignity of the person and without harming the person. There is what I call discipline with dignity. It's a very important. No? The reason that's also important to highlight is when we've gone to many places in the country, barangays, school barangays, we always observe that when parents discipline their children, there's always a pahabol. Bakit hindi mo ginawa yan? Ang tanga-tanga mo naman. Ang tamad-tamad mo. There's always a irresistible impulse, no, to give an insult at the end of the sentence na bakit hindi mo ginawa yan, or at the end of the reprimand mayroong insult. I think that's what we need to be aware of, and we need to be conscious not to do, because we can discipline very, very effectively without the insult. In fact, more effectively, because when we don't insult the person, the lesson of the discipline, the behavior that they must do, enters there more, and they can absorb it better than when we insult them or when we hurt them, physically harming them, corporal punishment and things like that. There are consequences there that are not good, and you are also not being effective. When you punish the person or spank, you think you're effective at that moment, but the child may not learn it. He may just do it out of fear, but when you're not there, the punisher is not there, he will continue to do that behavior. He doesn't integrate it inside him. It doesn't become self-discipline. Okay, the next is care. Just a reminder that we must be clear when we discipline is for the sake of the child and not because we are angry. Many times we discipline out of anger and there becomes a power play. No? So just be aware when you discipline, think of what you're feeling. If you're very angry, pause first so that you don't regret what you're going to do and when you discipline your child. Okay, the last but of course always there is communication. Clear communication must always consistently be reviewed and done every now and then. For example, in the barangays now we have the lockdown has quarantine, lalabas, and then there is also the curfew. The communication here is needed. People need to be reminded, to be told again and again na curfew, things like that. In other words, you are communicating consistently the rule so that the people really get it and don't forget it. So those are the 6 C's of discipline. Okay. I think what's maybe the last thing I'd like to say is that the clear and consistent limits must also apply to us as adults. My body has limits. I am too tired and too exhausted. I might burn out. I will set limits. I will rest. That's why sometimes we say rest is a moral obligation, because when you're tired and you're angry and you're stressed, you're irritable, and you make other people around you miserable. So it's your obligation to take care of yourself so that when you relate to people around you, you are not angry, you don't project your frustration on them, and you don't do any necessary harm because you are also very stressed. Being aware, mindful, no? Being mindful of how you are, and also giving your body, listening to your body so that when you need to rest, rest. Also, when another kind of setting limits is professionalism. When you're trained to do something, you do it well. That's your training. But when you're asked to do something that you are not trained in and you know that's not your capability, leave it to somebody else. Refer. Know your professional limit and professional competence, and don't go beyond it because it will create more harm for people. And you are also not respecting the other professions. So now I think we know, and we don't have to explain why discipline is crucial to our survival now in our fight against COVID-19. Discipline, don't go out when it's not necessary, don't go out as much as possible, wash your hands, all those rules now must be followed. We must incorporate them into ourselves and have self-discipline, and self-discipline that comes with dignity. Very important. So thank you, and that's it for now.